When there's a cost of living that is being hiked, you're quiet. When there are things that are done to the JSS teachers, you're quiet. When you're having problems going around in the country and people are crying, you are quiet. But when it comes to leadership, you are talking about your tribe. We want this thing to come to Western. We want this thing to come to Rift Valley. We want this thing to come to Kisii. We want this thing to come to Western, to Coastal Region. Wengine pia wapate. While when we are fighting for the country, your people stay away.
We want to request to those who are in government, please, my friends, you cannot continue mismanaging the public resources kwa mambo ya siasa, ile hali maneno ya masomo, ya mambo ya elimu, munawacha mzazi ati atabeba mzigo.
When I tell you guys that let us emulate and respect the people of Mount Kenya, accept it is a reality that you need to come into terms with. Ladies and gentlemen, why am I saying this? Right now as we speak, there are rumors going around that in 2026 January, school fees are going to hike, allegedly. And probably there's a circular that has been already sent to headmasters and principals to increase school fees.
The recent circular that was sent by government to our principals is actually cutting capitation from 22,000 to 12,000 starting January. And the burden for the extra school fees, walimu wetu wakuu wameambiwa tuwaongeze mzazi ambaye yako na mtoto day school, wamuongeze school fees ya 9,374 shillings.
When you touch education in this country, you are touching every household. You are affecting 99.99% of the Kenyan population. So therefore, this is something that must be taken very serious by the leaders of this country. Now, Ndindi Nyoro here, he has come out. Coming out, he has spoken about this issue and he has even given the problem and the solution.
We are not going to allow any leader in whichever capacity to play around with free basic education in Kenya. Hiyo pesa munatumia katika siasa, cancel those political meetings, cancel those political management, leta hiyo pesa katika elimu.
He has explained the problem very well and he has given the solution that Kenyans have. That is his constitutional right as a Kenyan and also as a legislature. Now, the biggest question that we need to ask ourselves here, is Ndindi Nyoro the only person who is seeing that school fees is going to be hiked in January? Is Ndindi Nyoro right now the only person who knows that JSS teachers need to be confirmed? No. Where are other members of parliament affiliated to the opposition side? Leave alone those ones in government because they're the ones bringing this kind of a thing. Now those in opposition, either from Kisii, Ukambani, Coast, even Mount Kenya, where are you? Ndindi Nyoro is the person who has come out to speak about them. Even go ahead to give hope. Apart from speaking as a legislature, I feel he has also beaten all other opposition leaders. Opposition leaders right now, most of them have just concentrated on winning their seats, how they're doing their campaigns. Nobody's coming out to speak on the issues that are affecting us right now. I did a video recently and told you guys that we need to see the leaders also who are affiliated to opposition. If you are a member of parliament and you are affiliated to the opposition side, we want to see you do your role in the National Assembly, back in the villages with the CDF. Where are you? Now, Ndindi Nyoro has come out speaking of the problem and the solution. He identified the problem, which is what? He goes to the solution, which is how it can be solved. Very important. That one he has beaten the opposition. There's no problem opposition has identified and given as a solution, not even one. But when you talk about Ndindi Nyoro, he's coming out as a strong leader. Take it to the bank. By 2027, if Ndindi Nyoro continues in the same pace, even leaders of Mount Kenya will be threatened. Ndindi Nyoro will threaten most of you because he speaks a lot of sense. This is why I'm saying we need to respect the people of Mount Kenya. If it's a person leading on the one-term slogan, it's Rigathi Gachagua. Where is he from? The Mount Kenya region. Now, there are issues that are affecting us in the country on education, health, and finance. Who is coming out to speak about them? Ndindi Nyoro. Why are other leaders from other regions not speaking about this? Put aside speaking. Put aside the speaking now. Ladies and gentlemen, in a scenario where Ndindi Nyoro has spoken like this, he has gained the people of Mt.Kenya and support him to say this to the rest of the country. And he has reached a point that is now making a lot of sense to Kenyans. What is wrong if a youth from Western Kenya decides it's Ndindi Nyoro? Nothing wrong about that. Nothing wrong. But whereas there are some people seated somewhere not doing anything, when there's a cost of living that is being hiked, you're quiet. When there are things that are done to the JSS teachers, you're quiet. When you're having problems going around in the country and people are crying, you're quiet. But when it comes to leadership, you're talking about your tribe. We want this thing to come to Western. We want this thing to come to Rift Valley. We want this thing to come to Kisii. We want this thing to come to Western, to Coastal Region. Wengine pia wapate. While when we are fighting for the country, your people stay away. You just leave it for the Mount Kenya people. Now, where are the leaders affiliated to Matiang'i, affiliated to Kalonzo, affiliated to Gachagua, plus many other leaders within the opposition team? Where are you? Why don't you add the voice to what Ndindi Nyoro is saying? The basic thing, like the school fees for JSS students, that one every member of parliament should be aware. But most of you are jumping right, left, and center campaigning for your candidates, while you are leaving the teachers without someone to even inform what is happening in that sector. You just wait for media to expose things, you come out. But Ndindi Nyoro is exposing things as a legislature from the knowledge that he has from parliament and from interacting with his electorates. That's why we are saying they reach a time where Ndindi Nyoro will vie for president in this country. And people will come out and say, stop, you are a Kikuyu. You just became, Uhuru was there, Kenyatta was there, Kibaki was there. Now you stay aside. Why? Yet when we are fighting for some of these things, when people have a chance to show what they can do, you are away. When are they going to come out, if not now? Let every leader come out so that we can be able to see who has substance. And then now, the leaders of the Jubilee Party, right now, they are quiet. It's only Jeremiah Kionu who is speaking. Yes, they are MPs. Why don't you even support what Ndindi Nyoro is saying? If what Gachagua is saying is not necessary, why don't you support what Ndindi Nyoro is saying? So that at least the Mount Kenya gets a voice. Because whatever is saying, it's going to happen in 2026 if people are not careful. Hikes on school fees. 99% of the Kenyans are going to suffer. Now, when it comes to the time to consider Ndindi Nyoro, we start to have a conversation. He's a Kikuyu. He's from Mount Kenya. We should not have such people there now. What is happening with Kenyans? What is happening with our leaders? Wake up. Emulate the rest of you who are doing good things. Ndindi Nyoro has beaten the opposition. He has identified a problem and a solution. When it comes to the money for education, he has shown where the money is. Now he's telling the president, let this money get back to schools. Who else in opposition comes out to say some of these things the way Ndindi Nyoro is saying them with a lot of clarity? Nobody. And tomorrow the Mount Kenya people will say, now we stand behind Ndindi Nyoro. People will be like, stop it. You are a Kikuyu. Kikuyu is not your time now. I want to see the leaders from the Gusii region where Matiang'i comes from. Not to embarrass Matiang'i. Come out and also speak on these issues. Don't be empty debes. Don't be empty debes. You're just local. Yet your role is being national as a legislature. Let those who are speaking in support of Gachagua. Where are you? Where are you now? Kalonzo Musyoka has a party with so many members of parliament right now in the National Assembly. They are not speaking about these things. They are waiting, they get passed. They tell us, oh, William Ruto is doing this. William Ruto is doing that. Yet Ndindi Nyoro is coming out and saying, even if it's himself alone, he will make sure that we don't have the schools being hiked, the school fees being hiked. And that is giving hope to the common manage. And that is what we need. So that I feel myself like I have a reason to wake up every morning and get to my office and do things. Get to my mic and speak. Get to my hustle and get something. Because tomorrow will be a better place. Why? Ndindi Nyoro is there for us. But now, you have an MP from Luo Nyanza. You're just telling us about broad-based government. While your people are now going to suffer because of school fees. Your people are going to cry because of school fees. Principals are going home with debts because of the parliament that you guys are seated in. Instead of now taking that advantage and speaking to the president and tell him, rise, okaha, skiza, Watu wangu wanataka fee ipunguzwe, si iongezwe. But now you guys, so long as you have money, you are eating, William Ruto is fine. The schools are okay. Fanya vile mnapenda. Nonsense. Let's have our leaders wake up and do things just like how Ndini Nyoro is doing.